First, I've been very impressed by the previous presentation. There are so much concepts that you have mentioned in your talk. I feel like so close to you, and it's really helpful for me, I would say. It's a really tough exercise of doing this today for me, because actually I'm not a doctor or expert talking in front of many people, so I'm very impressed, and I hope it will be fine anyway. So first, thank you for inviting me here and give me the occasion to talk. Thanks to TCBL and thanks to Christina for the dress. It's a detail, but it's important. So I'm not an expert. I'm a multitask entrepreneur, and if I feel okay to discuss the tough topic mentioned in the title of this conference, this is because my position allows me to meet a lot of project owners on the ground. So I will not be too much specific. I will talk about main trends, general trends, and maybe, I hope, I will also give ideas. In fact, I am particularly interested in how we could preserve a high level of creation and innovation in the fashion industry. So to explain a little bit who I am, in 2010, while I was a fashion student, I started looking for adapted places to work and network, and I couldn't find it. So for that reason, step by step, I have built such a place. At the beginning, it was a very small, 17 square meters shared workshop in a biohacker space. And today it is a 200 square meters workshop with a big window in the center of Paris. So this gives hopes. I hope it gives hopes, because if I could do this, it means that we can do a lot of things, even starting from zero. And so I'm not only the founder of Couture, I'm the name of the space I was mentioning. I have also co-founded an event named Fashion Tech Week with other women entrepreneurs. And what is Fashion Tech Week? It's an event organized once a year, which try to highlight new ideas, a new proposal, innovative proposal in the fashion industry. So now maybe you understand a bit better why I can have an overview of things happening in the fashion industry, at least for France. So let's go to our topic. So we have problems in common, right? And they are big. We have pollution problems and its consequences, global warming, oceans acidifications. And we have also a problem of unemployment, which is really affecting the fashion industry. But we are not only the victims of those problems, we are also the responsible authorities. And this is a chance, because this specific position means that we can do something. Actually, many of us in this room today are already doing something, right? So problems lead to new ideas, and that's the positive thing. So, talking about high technology, there is a general excitement for high tech, pushed by big brands which try to solve their find growth relays while not damaging too much the environment, and also, of course, pushed by politicians to create activities and jobs. So I think that this excitement is something good, because it's cut with the trends of the last year with the sweatshops and all. You have very well talked about this before. Because, of course, low-cost strategies and volume strategies are not really efficient on the long term regarding our resources problems. So also, since of course the budget allows to fashion is decreasing, and since smartphones are becoming fashion products, fashion brands are trying to add new functionalities to their fashion products and more sense. This is basically how they can remain competitive. So regarding the demand, we are really demanding. We want beautiful, good for the health, practical, self-washing, multifunctional, easily biodegradable, but also long-lasting clothing, and we want it right now, as soon as we have seen it on our mobiles. So both the offer and demand is also contributing to new high-tech propositions. Behind this, there are also big trends. So mass personalization and mass made-to-measure, and startups are already making propositions regarding this trend, like EVK, for instance, a startup in France which make adaptive robotic mannequins for shoemakers. Functional economies, the fact of using things instead of possessing things, with startups like Tell Me, or also in France, Panoplicity, and previously the very inspiring La Bibliothèque. Total automatized fabrication with Thaubots, but it's still a work in progress things. And of course, it implicates that we impacts on our jobs, so it means that we have to rethink the economy, which is a really high-level challenge. Fast made-to-order, it's also a big trend, and big companies are trying to do so, like Lectra in France, for instance, but also Amazon. There are also all the things about resource-saving solutions with easily removable pieces. What Milan Avesise is doing as well, zero-waste design, helped by 3D design tools. There is also a back to the local movement. Many of us are developing concepts helping this. Innovative platforms like Sketch, for instance. And also, of course, DIY culture with new brands like Make My Limonade, proposing people patterns instead of finished products. There are also big technological sectors which brings a lot of startups on the ground of fashion. Everything around 3D, so computer-aided design like Close 3D, Milan Avesise is using very efficiently. And 3D printing, which are good for local fabrication, personal fabrication, and DIY, but also asks other problems because the filaments are still integrating chemicals, solvents in the process for most of them. Immersive technologies, which are very interesting because, for instance, today, instead of taking plane, instead of flying, we could have made a big holographic rendezvous, like in Star Wars. Sorry, I didn't have time to make visual. It would have been more impactful, but... so immersive technologies, they are very interesting because they allow brands to sell products in, let's say, more effective way, because it's better to buy online products to get 3D visuals instead of 2D visuals, right? And maybe can also avoid sent back pieces, returns, if it's cumulated with VR, for instance. And I saw very interesting stuff like this during the Eindhoven Design Week with the Swedish startups, allowing people to go into the clothing with a VR cask. And it's pretty impressive. However, it can also allow brands to make placement products into video games, for instance, which is not really relevant regarding the problems mentioned before, but which is relevant to, for the competitiveness of marketing strategy. Then AI and, yes, I forgot, also related to 3D, the body scanning solution, 3D scanning solutions to make made-to-measures. Then AI and robotics, programmed intelligence, which of course increase the efficiency of fashion brands because they can make really targeted recommendations to customers. So it can have a positive impact to reduce waste if the right people get the right pieces, the piece which is made for him. But of course, most brands are using it again to send advertising, I have to admit. Biofabrication, which is giving hope because it allows to escape from oil and carbon solutions, right? But it is still a work in progress because of the cost of the scalability of it. And but there are startups which are now going further and further to solve these troubles, like Pili in France, which is doing dyeing through bacteria. Then electronic textile and wearables, which allows to make adapting clothing depending on both us and our surrounding. Thinking about the problems of heat in our flats, today is not the right moment to talk about it, but it can allow us to economize energy. But batteries are still very hard to upcycle. And it also allows brands to go closer to the customers and politicians. And this is a risk as well, because coming closer to us means also being able to maybe manipulate us. Sorry for the analogy. So then blockchain, which is really relevant to create transparency and new governance models. So we see that new technology applied to the fashion industry can both meet ecological challenges without damaging productivity. But I think, as you and as maybe other people here, that the technologies are not neither the solution, neither the problem. I think actually they are a small part of the solution. Our problems and the solutions are more related to philosophical considerations, to critical size ignorance, to priorities order, to volume-based models, to wealth accumulation. It is about changing our prominent value system. Huge program, right? So I want to share 3 ideas on this. Interdisciplinarity, yes, again. Because innovation often comes from observation, practicing, and inspiration borrows from other sectors. Schools are already trying new things. We are in a school, and there are many schools trying to bring more interdisciplinarity in their programs, which I think is a very good thing for both fashion and research. Learning, second thing, learning how to collaborate. It is not just about sharing, it's also how we share, how we can share too. Because, of course, in a competitive economy like the fashion industry, share is representing also a risk. Because we are in an individualistic society, right? So it's also about practicing more collaborative strategies and especially focus on this during our education. And we can be educated as adults as well, right? I don't think this is just about the new generation to save the planet. It's impossible. They have no money, they have no jobs, they have... Like, it's very hard for our generation, you know, to open, to save money on a bank account or this kind of thing, or invest in a house, or... So it's about all of us, you know, collaborative, solving collective problem. Also, regarding sharing, when it comes to technologies, it makes a big difference whether they are open or closed. When they are open, people can use it like to solve their own problems and manipulate it and all. When it is closed, it opens the door to manipulation. It makes a big difference. It makes a big difference also regarding biotech, for instance. It is especially visible for biotech in medicine. Imagine that a laboratory finds the perfect material, fully green, fully biodegradable, zero carbon impact, but put a patent on it and keep it for himself. This is not the best attitude to solve global warming, right? But it's a complicated problem because startups, they are obliged to get the exclusivity most of the time to get funding and to get the necessary time to develop their ideas further. So one last thing, change our minds, and it's of course the most difficult. It means emphasize other values, starting by managers. It's about what we put behind the words wealthy, success. Maybe we could admire other things than wealth accumulations. Maybe we could more highlight, emphasize the people who are helping other people. In our individualistic society, giving of his time freely for someone else looks strange or even suspect. But maybe we could change this. Participating to fashion school juries, it came in my mind that there is a change, a positive change. Because it is very difficult for a young creative generation to rely on the same concepts to build a great career, a brilliant life and all. How could you trust in how could we trust, sorry, in that having a job in a big company can make us happy when we daily hear about redundancy plans? How could we, and especially young generation, young creative generation, trust in mass production when we know the waste and the death it is causes? We are at a crossroads because we have collective concerns which are not odds with the conventional ethos of business. Tools like SSE agreements can be an answer. Social and solidarity economy tools. So to finish, I just want to say that actually observation and sharing my ideas with the right person is what has helped me starting All Couture, while I wasn't in 2014 at all the typical profile of the successful entrepreneur. I was scared, as well I was a woman, or looking like a woman at least. I was very young, and at the end this is what has helped me to think that it was possible. So, yeah, things can change. And actually, if you have a fashion company and see that your strategy is no more that much adapted to the context, maybe it is time to share your concerns, to explore new possibilities and new ideas, to experiment, in a word. So let's give a chance to truly new models and not just high-tech. Including providing adapted financial support, and I think TCBL would agree with this. Like some French regions are already doing, some cities are already doing. And I would, of course, be happy to share ideas with politicians or foundations if they are interested in this. Let's be more open to new voices. Thank you for having listened mind.